So I'll be responding to some of the things that the negative side brought up. So one of the things that the negative said is that mandating players to stand will cause the protest to become ugly. And he also mentioned some quotes of players saying that they would find other ways to retaliate and protest. However, it turns out that officials and players are willing to cooperate and find a solution that doesn't offend people and is good for both sides. So this is a quote from CBS Sports talking about one of the solutions that the officials, the NFL officials, found for this protest. So it says, in Detroit, Lions owner Martha Ford said that she would financially support their social causes if they refused to kneel during the national anthem. And, if they refuse to kneel during the national anthem. And with owners like Ford encouraging their players to stand, the number of players protesting during the anthem took a considerable hit in week 4. So before this compromise was reached, about 200 players kneeled during the national anthem. However, with this new compromise of supporting the players financially if they choose to stand during the national anthem, many players have actually taken this, used this as an incentive to stand, and now it went down to about 52 players kneeling during the national anthem. So it's, even if the players have said they will retaliate, find a way to retaliate, with officials working together and trying to cooperate, we see that they're willing to stand and use like financial means and other means to get their messages across. The negative also said that in order to get attention from the media, the form of protest has to be something big, like kneeling during the national anthem. And the problem with this is that the media is focusing on the protest itself and not the actual issues that are behind the protest. And in fact, when reporting about the protest, many news sources actually contradict themselves with what the meaning itself is. So in the Federalist, an online news site, I analyzed a LA Times article. So this is what they had to say about the LA Times article. The opening paragraph of the Los Angeles Times story on protests said they were about, quote, the relentless vortex of controversy that surrounds President Trump, as players from London to New England to Carson knelt or linked arms. Later, the story said protests during the national anthem were meant to draw attention to social injustice. So this is just one example of how there's no clear objective of what the actual issue is, and that's when the media chooses to talk about the issues. Usually they're just talking about what Trump tweeted this time or how the players are choosing to protest. So the message itself is not really getting across. Also, the negative seems to focus more on the players themselves. Well, we also have to think about the fans who are like watching the actual game and who are funding this game. So in an article by Edward Morrissey called Why the National Anthem Protests Are Failing, he says that NFL fans expect Sunday football to be an escape from the politicization of all things. And this is just one example of how this protest is causing more trouble than it is causing solutions. He also says in the same article that just as much as fans value sportsmanship between competitors, they also value that moment of unity when we can put aside all of our agendas and come together simply as Americans. Any demonstration, such as kneeling, sitting, arm linking, or anything like that, distracts players, fans from that unity. So that's just emphasizing the unity we talked about in our significance claim.